Um, my persuasive speech is on foster care system. Obviously, I don't believe it should exist. I'm so against the foster care system. Don't get me wrong, there are good foster homes, but from my accounts of what I witnessed, no. Am I supposed to be pressing this thing? Like, what is it?
If you ever plugged it, so it might not.
So, the definition of foster care, when you look it online, or you can research it as far as like pamphlets, like I went to the job center, they said that foster care is where children go to loving families that open their hearts and give them homes. And when you look at this picture, this is what they portray of foster care. Nice, happy, loving families. But from my account, it was not that way. 3.3 billion calls are made, reported for abuse and neglect. And out of those 3.3 billion, 650,000 are found valid cases of abuse and neglect. Out of those cases, 415,000 children are placed in foster care. And that was derived as of September 30th, 2014. So why foster care? Obviously, children go through things, teenagers go through things. Maybe the family member has passed away. Maybe a family member or the parents are not able to take care of the child. Foster children are everywhere. They go to school with your kids. They're in daycare with your kids. I mean, you probably sitting right next to a previous foster child now in college, which is probably slim, which further on I'll tell you why the statistic is slim for a teen going to college in foster care. But when you see this picture, what do you see?
It's
diverse. Yeah. %52 of foster children are male, and the other 48% are female. Where do foster children go? Obviously, they're very diverse. It's different races, different ages. 4% of the foster children go to pre-adoptive homes. 29% of the foster children go to foster homes with a relative, which is called a kinship. 46% of foster children go to a non-related foster home, which is where I was placed. 6% of those children are in group homes, 8% are institutionalized, 1% are in supervised independent living. Just that. Independent living is where they give you your own apartment to teach you how to be sufficient enough and live like an adult to be able to take care of yourself in the future. 1% of those are runaways, and then the other 5% are on trial home visits, which is also sad. Why can't they go back with their families? Why are they on trial home visits? I feel like that percent should go up. Where is the funding coming from for foster care? Well, it comes from your taxes. The federal reimbursement that you get out of your taxes that goes to the government is given to child welfare funding. Out of that reimbursement, 90% of it goes to, obviously, the foster care program, like I said, child welfare program. 10% of it actually goes to the actual homes for the parents to take care of the children. Why are they keeping the 90% and only giving the parents to take care of them the 10%? Beyond me. I know that in an article through the Library on Herzing, I seen that in 1998, the state of Ohio filed their income tax return for funding for the foster care and only accounted for 12,000 children in foster care. Well, back in '98, it was over 20,000 children. So why is the state of Ohio not accounting for the rest of the children, or not doing an appropriate count on foster care? And why isn't the money given to the actual children or the parents taking care of them? Foster care is being paid $250 every year, is what they're given to take care of these children. Within the first year, foster parents leave the profession. How many parents leave the profession? Over 40,000. So how are we able to maintain foster parents and be able to place these children in homes if that many people are leaving the profession within a year? And just to note, from what I learned, the worse behavior of the kid, the more they get paid. Yes, I was living in a foster home with foster children, and the one was put on antipsychotics, and he was a very, very disruptive child. I think they just didn't get to the root of the problem that mainly had him medicated very well. And I just feel like they could have done a lot more with him instead of giving him medication to keep him high. But he was a level 4, which is the worst you can be. That means you're irate, you're not maintainable, you shouldn't even be in the household. You're a danger to other children as well as yourself. So they got paid more for him. The hidden facts, like I said, the government pays $250,000 in income to take care of the children a year. 22% of the children in foster care end up running away or aging out of the system, which I've seen a lot. 45% of teens that run away end up homeless within the first year. And 1/3 of the kids reported missing were in foster care. 80% of abused children meet the diagnostic criteria for at least one psychiatric disorder. And that includes suicide or attempted suicide, depression, eating disorders, and from what I've seen in foster care, post-traumatic stress disorder. From the graph, they show the normal medical care for a normal child on the left and the medical care for a foster child on the right. If you notice on the very bottom, not with the statistic where it says 50%, that's telling you that 50% of prescribed medications that are given to a foster child, out of the 50%, they're given more than one medication to maintain their behavior. 42% of those are antipsychotic. Comparing the statistics of foster care. These are older statistics, but the newer one, I can go ahead and say, out of the teen rate, 71% of young teen mothers will be pregnant by the age of 21 in foster care. The old statistic was 50% before the age of 19. So that is drastically high compared to what they would have been had they stayed with the parents. 75% of males that were in foster care end up incarcerated when they're out or while they're runaways. 33% of the children in foster care are usually, that are in elementary age, are usually bounced around more than 5 times within a year. So their education is not really stable. And approximately 3% of foster care teens even graduate high school. Nonetheless, less than 6% will even go to college or consider college. Mine's ended already. And those are the statistics laid out for you. None of the foster children really have a voice. Like I said, 2 out of 3 of the kids will die or be homeless or go to jail. 31% of former foster youth spend time homeless or couch surfing. And there's a statistic there, 33% of foster children change their elementary schools 5 times or more while in foster care within the first year. 55% are placed in more than 3 homes. 28% of the children in state care are abused while in the system. 18% have died while in the system from being abused from a foster parent. And if you don't recognize, Ohio's on the list for the 25 states that have failed the system. So my ending with statistics like this, wouldn't they be better off being with the families, finding alternatives, giving them more referrals and helping them out further, instead of bringing them into a foster care system where they're obviously failed? As being the youth and being young teenagers or children, they should be the next generation of the future. They should not be held in a situation where their future is pretty much flawed or failed or can't even progress in life. That is my thing, and I feel like foster care really shouldn't exist as far as the good home. I feel like there should be a respite care, and as far as the children that have difficulties where their parents are deceased or anything, I feel like they should go to respite care, and adoptive parents should be given more opportunities and easier adoption ways to be able to adopt these children to give them families. That's just what I wanted to say.